Hello everyone. So today we're going to be talking about the last Caesarian. We're talking about, of course, Lobo. He is one of the most badass bounty hunters in the galaxy of the DC universe and sometimes is included in Marvel as well. He is pretty much the best bounty hunter in the known universe, often called by his nickname, the Main Man, that he gives himself. And if you're lucky, you'll never have to cross his path. Now, the word Lobo actually in our language implies that he is an earth animal. However, in this instance, it translates to he who devours your entrails and thoroughly enjoys it. This character loves riding around all of the spaceways on his space cycle, which he nicknames Space Hog. Lobo exhibits all the traits of someone who would associate with a biker gang, Hell's Angel-style motorcycle group on Earth. From his long hair and his tattoos down to his kill or be killed attitude. However, he has a fondness for pet dolphins and a good fight. He also loves the ladies and getting drunk in some intergalactic dive bars. Over the years, this anti-villain, anti-hero has fought on the side of both the good guys and the bad, pretty much drifting towards whoever pays him the most to get the job done. If that's not the case, whoever provides him the better, bloodier fight. Lobo is a character that appears published by DC Comics. The Lobo character was created by Roger Slifer and Kevin Giffen, and first appeared in Omega Men number 3, June of 1983. Lobo is an alien born on the utopian planet of Caesarnia and works as an interstellar mercenary and bounty hunter. At first he was introduced as a hardened villain in the 1980s, but soon fell out with use with writers. Later, writers attempted to use Lobo as a parody of the 1990s trends toward grim and gritty superhero stories, epitomized by such Marvel comic characters as Cable, Wolverine, and also the Punisher. But he was instead enthusiastically accepted by fans of the trend. Lobo is a Caesarian with exceptional strength and fortitude. He enjoys nothing better than mindless violence and intoxication. He is arrogant and self-centered, focusing mostly on his own pleasures, although he proudly lives up to the letter of his promises. Lobo is the very last person of his kind, having committed complete genocide by killing all the other Caesarians for fun, as detailed in Lobo number 0. Lobo unleashed a violent plague of flying scorpions upon his home world, killing most of its citizens. Lobo resembles a chalk-white human male with generally blood-red pupils, with blackened eyelids. Like many comic book characters, Lobo's body is highly muscular, though his initial appearances were much leaner and less bulky compared to later iterations. Originally portrayed with neatly trimmed purple-gray hair, this was soon redesigned as a gray mane, later a long, scraggly gray-black rocker hair, dreadlocks, and more recently, a pompadour. Similarly, the orange and purple leotard he wore in his first few appearances was replaced by black leather biker gear, and later replaced with both the robes of his office as a punitive archbishop and pirate-themed gear, then later a sleeveless flight jumpsuit. His arsenal includes numerous guns and a titanium chain with a hook on his right arm. Extra weapons can include frag grenades and giant carving blades. However, Lobo does have a strict personal code of honor in that he will never violate the letter of an agreement. A man's word is his bond. He has some kind of weird connection, and he is surprisingly protective of space dolphins. Some of the times he actually feeds from his home. He even goes so far as to avenge their death with the usual violence. Now, Lobo actually has a buddy, a bulldog, that he often claims that it's not his when he gets into trouble. He also made good friends with Guy Gardner, whose friendship was then cemented when Lobo came by Guy's bar Warriors, where he gave Guy one of the space hogs and the skull of the Tormach leader Bronk. Later, Dog is stomped to death by Lobo in Lobo number 58, in which he again claims to Superman that the dog is not his, for the final time. Somehow, later on, Dog appears alongside Lobo, and Lobo goes to Earth to fight Green Lantern and Atrocitus. His enemies include the do-gooder superhero parody Gold Star, Lou, Virile Dox, Ballooned Hound, Etrigan the Demon, and General Glory. Lobo generally tries to kill anyone he is hired to capture, including his 4th grade teacher named Miss Trib, his children, Santa Claus, and dog, although his main targets are usually Superman or Deathstroke. Lobo frequents a restaurant, Al's Diner, where he often flirts with Al's only waitress, Darlene. Though Lobo protects these two from frequent danger, he does not seem to understand the distress caused by his tendency to destroy the diner. Al and Darlene later prospered due to Lobo's appetite for destruction, as he destroys the city, all except for the diner, leaving hordes of construction workers with only one place to eat lunch. The last revelation of Lobo and the diner appears to be at the pages of Lobo number 1,000,000, where his last adventure is depicted. By the time of the action, he is already morbidly obese and working as a carnival attraction, scaring tourists into leaving their money behind. Then a sexy client appears to offer him a last job, finding a legendary evildoer named Malo Perverso. At the prospect of a last well-paid job and a chance to score with the client, Lobo quickly agrees and again invades the diner to use their Tesseract teleporter to reach his gear. It is revealed that the client is none other than Darlene, who wanted to see him back in his prime rather than see him slink even deeper into being a sloth. After reaching his gear, Lobo invades the headquarters of the International Justice Legion wannabes and crushes all opposition in order to hack their files on Malo Perverso. There he is attacked by Perverso himself, who then reveals himself to be Clayman, the team's shapeshifter, who admits he impersonated Perverso to get rid of Lobo. Clayman also squeals on him that the real Perverso went back to a black hole. Lobo, still eager to find his bounty, goes to the black hole, and ironically, due to Lobo's interference in a planetary conflict in the same issue, Al later gets a package through the Tesseract for Lobo, which promptly blows the diner up once again. Lobo later has trouble with a clone of himself that had survived previous misadventures. A fight between the two makes it unclear which of them survives. Some fans conclude that the original Lobo was the victor, since later in the series, Lobo removes a miniature radio which he had surgically implanted in his head sometime before the clone fight, and only organic matter could be cloned. In one issue, he fights Aquaman when a traveling space dolphin visiting Earth is killed by a Japanese fisherman. He ceases fighting when he learns Aquaman is not only a friend to dolphins, but was actually raised by them. He has no such mercy for the fisherman, although Lobo feels he definitely cannot hurt a fellow dolphin lover. As always, we go over the powers and abilities of the character. In all of the comic books, Lobo is portrayed as a ruthless bounty hunter. Lobo possesses extraordinary strength of undefined limits. His strength, much like other powers, varies greatly depending on different artistic interpretations by the various comic book writers. In some instances, he is depicted as being barely stronger than a human, while in others he demonstrates physical strength on a similar level to that of Superman. Each time that he has met with Etrigan the Demon, he is shown to be a match in strength. Lobo possesses superhuman durability, which varies greatly too in the comic books writer by writer. Lobo is depicted in some situations as being injured by conventional bullets, while in other situations he has the physical resiliency to stand toe-to-toe with Superman, survive unprotected in deep space, and withstand high level of destructive weaponry and powerful explosive blasts. He has displayed other particular susceptibility to gaseous chemicals. In one instance, Lobo was declared immortal. He proved too much for the demons, and when he was sent to heaven, he wreaked so much havoc that he was permanently banished from the afterlife. He has an accelerated healing factor that enables him to regenerate damaged or destroyed tissue with superhuman speed and efficiency. He is immune to the effects of aging and disease. As such, even though he can sustain sufficient injury to be out of commission, he will apparently heal from any injury given sufficient time. For instance, Lobo can regenerate out of a pool of his own blood, apparently recycling the cells all the way down to 1 drop. At one time, Lobo could grow a copy of himself, possessing all the skills and powers out of every drop of blood that was spilled. This power, however, was removed by Virile Dox during Lobo's time with Legion, but Lobo regained it in the series Young Justice, in which he was de-aged by Clarion the Witch Boy and slaughtered while on a mission to Apocalypse. His blood reforms into thousands of Lobo clones who wage war on the planet and then proceed to murder each other until one Lobo was left. One of his other clones, Slobo, survived, but later began falling apart, being dealt with by Darkseid. In New 52, he again regenerated from a pool of blood, but no clones were created, so it appears that he no longer retains this ability. He possesses a developed sense of smell, which allows him to track objects between solar systems, as well as a separate tracking ability, enabling him to track an individual across galactic distances. He is a formidable combatant with expertise in multiple forms of armed and unarmed combat. His favorite weapon is a large titanium alloy chain with a large gutting hook connected to the end. He also uses high-grade explosives and advanced firearms. Even though he has a violent nature, Lobo seems to have a genius-level intellect in matters of destruction and violence. He can create complex virulent agents and the corresponding antidotes. In one version of this backstory, he released such a plague on Caesarnia as a school science project. This actually results in the deaths of the entire population in the span of 1 week. Afterwards, he gave himself an A. Lobo has actually been able to take out the Flash. He has extraordinary speed. Combined with his ability to have the genius-level intellect in matters of destruction and violence, he was able to fight off the Flash several different times. Lobo claims that he has the power of detecting weaknesses at any enemy just by looking at them. This is, however, not confirmed, just something that is stated. He always has a really sweet ride, some sort of spacefaring motorcycle or a space hog. It often accompanies him, and it usually is of his own design, and despite its size, it is usually capable of very speedy travel throughout space. Further, it protects those in its immediate vicinity from the hazards of space and somehow permits the ability to breathe and speak. He is also able to scavenge parts from a destroyed time hopper and attach them to his own bike, producing a working time machine. Lobo is fluent in many alien languages and extremely knowledgeable in the locations and cultures of worlds without external references. He once destroyed an entire planet for not having the cigar of his liking. Now, in the comics, however, it is not fully known the extent to which his powers are common for his race or just unique to him. It is stated that the cloning and healing abilities are traits possessed by all Caesarnians, as the apparent ability to survive in the vacuum of space. Before the reboot of New 52, Lobo was granted a Red Lantern power ring by Atrocitus during the Brightest Day storyline. Anyway, you folks have a wonderful day, a good night, a good morning, whichever. Please, as always, like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that around here. Also, don't forget to go and write a comment down at the bottom. Let us know of a video that you would like us to do or something that you'd like us to talk about here on this channel, because it is Review with You, and we sure appreciate all the input, and we love new ideas. Excelsior, see ya.